Thank you for staying here on Joy News Desk. Now, more than 100 residents of Dintro Boase who were rounded up by the military in a 12-hour operation yesterday to fish out persons who were involved in the killing of a young military captain 2 days ago have been freed after hours of detention. Maxwell Adam Mahama was lynched by some residents on Monday as he went for his usual early morning jogging. The Ghana Armed Forces says residents who fled the town yesterday can now return home as they wind down the operation. Let's go live to the community now. But let me just give you a brief wrap of how yesterday ended. 5 men remain in police custody and will be interrogated by police investigators this morning. And the police is, however, on a manhunt for other suspects, including assemblyman accused of instigating residents to lynch the officer. Let's go live now to Ohiming Teria, my colleague in Dentro Boase, for the latest. Hello, Ohiming.
Hello, Betty.
Hello, Ohiming. Good morning. What's the situation in Dentro Boase this morning?
Yes, the situation, I must say, is similar to what we witnessed yesterday, except that the military presence is not felt this morning. The military has withdrawn from Dentro Boase, and I've seen a couple of residents in their community. A few of them just returned from where they have been hiding since 3 days ago. And some are still fleeing the community for fear of reprisal attacks. And when I spoke to some of them, they told me, yes, they heard the military hierarchy's promise that there won't be any reprisal attacks. But for them, they believe that the military might come back, so they want to avoid the situation as soon as possible, so that they are still fleeing the community. On few occasions, when I try to approach some of the residents, they flee from me or they run away from me. I don't know. Maybe they see me as one of the city agencies here to conduct a further investigation. This morning, we've seen the district chief executive here at the Elite, and also the member of parliament for the area, Samuel Nsongweja, and the district police commander visiting the communities to assess the situations for themselves. Unfortunately, I haven't had words with them because at the time I wanted to speak to them, they said they wanted to attend to an emerging issue as quick as possible before they can grant me the interview. And I've also had a chance to speak to some of the returnees, and one of them told me how yesterday he suffered in the hands of the military. According to him, the military brutalized him when he was picked up yesterday. He showed me bruises on his feet and also another on the mouth, and even showed me a swollen feet. So for now, for him, it's difficult for him to leave now because he tried as much as possible to access the only drug selling point in the community. But unfortunately, that store has been locked under key and lock. So there's no way he can go there. And when I asked him to whether he'll be going to the only chip compound in the community, he said probably there's no enough funds for him to access that facility. So now schools are also closed. I've seen several school children playing around. Few of them who are here are playing around. They are in multi-attire, no school for them today. And even some of them have also joined their parents to also flee from the scene, and they are still in the bushes. They are not even back to the community. So schools remain closed. And the chip compound, I must say, it has been a field day for the officers since yesterday when news of the military presence spread like wildfire in the community. The facility has not been operating. Each day they receive not less than 20, 25 people. But we speak now, nobody have been accessing that facility, except that one woman, I'm told last night, her child had a convulsion attack, so that child was rushed there. Even then, when the workers there beckoned on her to take the drugs for the kid, the woman, ran from that vicinity for fear of being attacked by the military. So that has been the story in Dencha Obuasi. Yes, I must say, maybe we can call this a semi-ghost town for now, because few residents are here in town, but almost all the shops are closed. The market is not being operational, so life is still at a standstill in Dencha Obuasi.
Hemming, so we hear that the police, as said yesterday, were on a manhunt for the assemblyman who is alleged to have instigated members of the community to lynch the officer. Any information on his whereabouts or if he has been arrested at all?
Not at all. The assembly member for Dencha Obuasi, Honorable William Ba, who at a point served as complainant in the issue of the captain's lynch, is still at large. And when I spoke to the district commander about reports being spread on social media of his arrest, and he said after 11 p.m. yesterday, the assemblyman was still at large. And even this morning, I've confirmed from the security authorities that indeed the assembly member, William Ba, and two others who even engaged the military officer in the shootout are still at large. But I must say, as for the 5 people who were picked and the military believes are highly connected to the lynching of the late Captain Mahama, one of them is believed to have in his possession a magazine of a pistol belonging to the late Captain Mahama. So they inquired from him, and he insisted that he only had the magazine in his possession and mentioned another person's name. So that person is being sought for. And beyond that, I'm told a little boy also assisted the police with a lot of information, because when the military, for instance, got hold of a video recording of how the late captain was attacked, they managed to see a young man in the video. Apparently, he was wearing the same cloth in the video, so they were able to spot him. They called him, and he was able to give them clues to who were very active, those who took part in the lynching of the late Captain Mahama. So all these are snippets of information I have taken on the ground, and the security apparatus of the military and police are collaborating to work on this assiduously to ensure that those who involved are brought to book. And let me also say that the Central Regional Command have taken over the investigations. As yesterday, Mini Ampabeni told me that indeed police would assiduously work on this case to ensure that all those involved are brought to book. So for now, I would say there's no military presence in the Obuasi, no police presence except the member of parliament, the DCE for the area, and the district police commander who in the morning came here on the visit.
All right, thank you very much, Ohiming Tera. You've been there for 2 days now. Good job. We'll touch base with you in subsequent bulletins if there are any updates on this particular matter. Meanwhile, the Ghana Bar Association has expressed their condolences to the family of the deceased captain in a statement released yesterday. The GBA also called on the security agencies to, as a matter of urgency, investigate and bring the perpetrators to book. Let me just bring you some extracts of that full statement on your screen now. The Ghana Bar Association has heard with shock the tragic and horrific killing of Captain Maxwell Adam Mahama of the Ghana Armed Forces by a mob at Diaso in the Upper Dintra West District of the Central Region. The GBA wishes to commiserate with the bereaved family and the Ghana Armed Forces, and hereby expresses its deepest condolences to his family, colleagues and friends. It is the prayer of the GBA that the Almighty God will comfort them and grant them peace. Now, the third paragraph says, the bar finds mob actions purportedly exercised to punish suspected or alleged offenders very unacceptable and an affront to the rule of law under the 4th Republican Constitution of Ghana. They have grave consequences and are serious threats to our democracy. Let's move down quickly to the 6th paragraph. The GBA also condemns the actions of the persons who rioted in Somenya in the eastern region and in the process destroyed state properties, and would reiterate its call for the offenders to be arrested, charged and prosecuted. The GBA notes with serious concern the general lawlessness prevailing and urges the security agencies to respond appropriately to ensure that the rule of law, peace and security of a country are guarded jealously at all times. This was issued in Accra yesterday and signed by the National President and the National Secretary. Well, the GBA is not the only organization or body condemning this act. In fact, the Christian Council of Ghana has come out to say that this act is a threat to the democracy that we practice in this country. I've got in the studio with me the General Secretary of the Council, Reverend Opuni Frimpong. Good morning, sir. Thanks for your time.
Good morning.
And I must say it was a swift reaction to hear what you had to say about this act. This is not the first time we're having this conversation on lawlessness. I remember we spoke to you with regards to the Delta Force issue. Are we losing it?
Let me thank you for the opportunity, and again, on behalf of the leaders of the Christian Council of Ghana, express our condolence to the family of our dear brother, Captain Mahama, his wife, and all those who are dear to him. Now, let me say that as a country, there's something we must pay attention to: the emerging culture of violence. We've had it at so many recently. You know, yes, electricity bill. We all do pay electricity bill. So if you have a challenge, there's nothing wrong complaining. But why destroying state property to the extent that police vehicle was burned? Earlier on, we had a similar challenge at Akosombo, Alavanyo, the Ashanti region, where people attack the judiciary. Now, these manifestations are attack on good governance and also on public safety. Ghanaians must be safe that when innocent people are out there to work for this country, their wives and husbands and parents must have inner assurance that the place where they work are safe enough. But if we get to a point, the military captain will be sent to a community to protect state facility, and he will end up being beaten, killed, and the dehumanization. You just watch the pictures, and there's a particular woman, you are not sure whether she was lighting the matches or whatever. And you go, have we lost our sense of humanity? That now Ghana, even the respect that we give to the dead, we've missed it. And that is the issue you are raising. And that is why the Interior Minister and the Defense and this administration must move very fast to address this emerging culture of violence. And for us, it's something that we must address, because if we don't handle it properly, we don't know where it will lead us.
Rev, some have suggested that we've gotten to this point because we failed to nip it in the bud when we saw signs. You know, when you get onto social media, people are talking especially about the attack on the security officer at the Flagstaff House, and they feel nothing was done about it. Talk about Delta Force, and nothing was done about it. And so unconsciously, we may be encouraging people to believe that we can get what we want if we do it this way. Do you agree with them?
We can't push it aside, because there's a justification for that. You know, fine, those who are within the world of law and will have their own interpretation. But if somebody had done such, you know, inhumane act, and yes, they go to court 1 year, 2 years, and they are discharged, and we're having more of that, what do you expect? But we also, we are a country that we are emerging from a revolution. And we have witnessed some of these acts during the revolution, where people openly were beaten, naked, burned. We have seen more. And some people think that now, even though we are under democracy, we can continue like that. We can't. You see, democracy must give us more than just queuing early in the morning to vote. Democracy must give us consensus building, civility. You know, we must be a country that respects, we have some level of consciousness. Now the moment is that we are losing our consciousness. You know, people just don't want to respect rule of law and all that. And then again, sometimes you ask yourself, what are our national values in this country? What are the national values, national consciousness? What are they? The impression sometimes is, let's get good roads, let's get infrastructure, and we'll be fine. It's not true. We need people who respect values, moral values. We need people who have some sense of humanity within them. Now, we are losing all that, and that is why maybe our law enforcement agencies must be up and doing, and then our judiciary must give signal that we are ready to punish wrongdoers and punish them. Because when we get to this, they have been discharged, fine, they understand. But from ordinary person, public opinion, if somebody can go through all these and only wake up the next morning to say they've been discharged, it's very discouraging.
Rev, let's come to the church. You've spoken about the judiciary and security services as various institutions. But in a country where over 60% of the population claim to be Christian, is it not worrying that you see some of these acts? Because when you study Christian culture, Christian values, Christian teachings, especially of the Lord Jesus, who is the major symbol for Christians, he preaches love, forgiveness. What is the church doing? Because it's a major concern that Ghana is touted, quote unquote, a Christian nation, yet you see some of these acts. Are our churches failing us?
This is an issue the church cannot run away from. And maybe let me use your platform to plead with colleague pastors. The more we witness this emerging culture of violence, we must all come together and give a response. Our churches gradually, we are producing salesmen of anointing oil, salesmen of holy water, salesmen and all that. But we've been called to be the conscience of the nation. And the more this country is losing that conscience war, pastors must rise up. We must move the church from the comfort zone. Church must move out of the cathedral. We must journey with the people. We must be with the people. This captain was a Christian. Now, when he was being stoned, I believe he was calling on God. God, where are you? And by asking that question, was asking, where is the church? Where are our pastors? And we must show much interest in such social concerns that ordinary Ghanaian and our members are facing. And then the people who were stoning him, I want to believe among them, some of them
are Christians.
Maybe.
Probably.
Yes. And if we can produce Christians and churchgoers, whatever you call them, in this country, that even women will not have that passion for somebody's son, the nakedness, and still will have the courage to withstand that. Something is not right. And church leaders must rise up and respond to that. Today is somebody's son. Tomorrow you may not know whose son it may be. And pastors must understand that if it is true we are the salt of the world and the light of the world, then we can't distance ourselves. I'll say the same thing to traditional leaders and those who are mobilizing these young people. But being people of faith, we must be concerned about the moral consciousness of this country. And the more you raise this issue, I will say, yes, the church in Ghana must rise up. You know, we are praying for people to get everything, but morality and moral formation of Ghanaians must be one of our topmost priority. And the more we witness this violence, and it's not just one incident, almost, I mean, whether it's by politicians or whatever, we must work towards it and we must wage war. I know we are not law enforcement agencies, you know. We must do what we ought to do and leave the security agencies to do what we have to do. But the more we witness some of these things, it must call the church into duty.
Well spoken, Rev. I would have to let you hold on a bit because the National Democratic Congress has threatened to engage in legitimate social revolution to protest the inability of President Akufo-Addo to protect the citizenry. Their caution was contained in a statement released this morning in reaction to what it deems as an attack on the country's security personnel, with specific reference to the lynching of Captain Maxwell Adam Mahama at Dintre Obuasi in the Central Region Monday morning. Legal practitioner and former MP of North Dai, George Low, has been reacting to the unfortunate incident on the AM show this morning.
Look at the series of events that has taken place and the way we've handled them. Now, what has become clear is that the attack on the security agencies is clear. Police people have been attacked this week. A soldier has been killed. The judiciary has been attacked. They are climbing up. And if anybody, any politician thinks that they are free, they should be sitting there. Next time it will be parliament. Next time it will be the office of the president. Then we'll come to terms fully with the kind of monsters, little monsters we are creating all over, and allowing them to walk free for political expediency. And that is why when they misbehave and people are talking and the Abronians of this world and other people, senior political figures of this are supporting this kind of lawlessness, some of us get angry. I understand that the president has also tweeted. But you see, the president has a greater responsibility in these matters, particularly because he's commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. And if he will sit by and watch his men murdered in this kind of thing, well, then he would have be eschewing.
He may not have issued an official
I am
statement,
saying that,
but from his official...
I didn't elect him to do anything. I want him to act as president, in our official capacity. Let's see the government of the Republic of Ghana come out.
The police are undertaking the investigation.
I am saying that
it's a democracy.
I am saying that let the government officially come out to condemn this action. Okay, the police have a standard duty to investigate anything, so it is nothing new if police wants to investigate this.
Mentioned that the president in a tweet mentioned that those who are responsible for this will not go unpunished. I've still got the General Secretary of the Christian Council with me, Reverend Opuni Frimpong, and it's such a big problem we are dealing with, Reverend, because you talk about all the examples that we've cited within just about a month, you know, and talk about the consistency. I think for some time now in Alavanyo, almost every Friday, there's Alavanyo and Konya, there's someone who is being who's shot, or there's some sort of violence. What can we do? You know, sometimes people accuse us of talking without acting. What can we do to make sure that this man's life, this young man's life, will not go to waste, if that's how we should put it, that his death would signify something important for this country and for other young people who will not have to face what he faced because some sort of action was taken after his death? What should we do?
It seems to me we must begin to pay attention to national consciousness. That this country must have cherished values, national cherished values. We must have things that we are proud of and things that as a country we are ashamed of. At the moment, things that must give us a sense of shame, it seems to me sometimes give us a sense of pride. And we must work at it. It must be, call it national orientation, must be on the agenda. The more we hear and see some of these things, a call for a national orientation, that something is not just right. Again, our laws must work. And what it means is, I mean, it's very discouraging. For instance, I'm a theologian, I don't understand law. But if we also witness what happened at Kumasi, that a judge just rushed out from a courtroom, and at the end of the day we are told that we can't have evidence to prosecute them, so they are discharged. You know, fine, the professionals might have reasons, but I feel that the judiciary and all those who are related must punish evildoers and punish them to the extent that others will feel that this is a no-go area. At the moment, it's like, and again, another area is that we must at all times depoliticize crime. Depoliticize. I pray and hope this particular instant will never become politicized. It never become NDC, MPP. The moment Benis, they push and we push ourselves there. It's no news. Tomorrow morning, a new news will emerge and we throw away. We must depoliticize crime in this country. And then again, traditional leaders, what I said earlier, we must all be on board. We must all be on board because in the communities we are mentioning, Alavanyo, Akosombo, Somenya, and Kumasi, there are leaders, community leaders. And our sense of responsibility must be there for everybody to see that we are a caring society. We can't have leaders, whether Muslim, Christian, chieftaincy, whatever, that we just watch evil to triumph. It shouldn't. It's a collective responsibility, but at the end of the day, the law enforcement agencies must be up and doing.
Reverend, it's a rather unfortunate situation that we are discussing here, but Dr. Ransford Jampo, senior lecturer at the University of Ghana, once lectured Captain Maxwell Mahama, and he's been sharing fondest memory of him on his Facebook page. I'll just read that post to you. He says, "See your face. You remember the last time I told you that you were too gentle, kind, calm, and caring to be a soldier. I told you, Captain, didn't I tell you? Were you not the one who told me not to spare any intruder who jumps my fence into my house? So why didn't you shoot them? Why did you allow yourself to be killed?" And he says, okay, so why didn't you tell me I won't see you again when I saw you 2 months ago? Your colleagues have sent me the pictures and the video of your killing. I saw a woman burning your body. I saw the guy hitting your head with a stick like a snake. I saw the guy breaking your head with a cement block. I saw all of them. And he asked, so didn't they see how handsome you were? He says, I won't curse your killers. Vengeance is the Lord's. I wanted to speak to your wife, but Major Wudo has seized her phone. Make sure you prevent her from watching any of the pictures and videos of your murder. And says, I have a major presentation tomorrow at a function. I have to prepare, but I'm still weeping. And well, you can tell the relationship he has with the captain, because he says again, see your face. Why did you allow them to kill you? If you are a sacrificial lamb, then may the fight against Galamsey be won. Well, so he adds a photo and says, Reverend Fedegbe once preached at the funeral service of a friend's son and asked us to forgive God in times like this. I will forgive him, but for now, I will ask him a few questions in humility in the hope that he will clarify a few things to me about your death. I will keep writing to you until I come to terms with your death. Also for you. And you can tell how close he was to this gentleman. Quite an emotional speech he's written there. I'll come quickly to you for some reactions. There are a few more questions I want to ask you about. Richard Kojonyako, our correspondent in the Central Region, is currently at the Central Regional Police Headquarters, where suspects are being transferred for further investigations. He joins us on the line with some updates. Hello, Richard, what can you report?
Well, what I can report is that the 5 suspects are currently in the police custody. We hear that the Central Regional Minister, being the head of the Regional Security Council, is headed here, and pretty shortly he will be here to ascertain things for himself, and he will be properly briefed on how all of these things have unfolded. And so that is what we're currently waiting for. The police have not spoken to us yet. They are waiting for the regional minister so that, the event will start rolling.
And Richard, the number of suspects, is it still at 5?
Yes, the police indicated to me last night that they have 5 in their custody, but we do not know whether there is an addition yet. So we are waiting. When the regional minister comes, we will know whether there have been some additions or it's still the 5. All
right, so we'll reach you for the updates when the Central Regional Police Command furnish you with more information. But Reverend, briefly in wrapping up, this gentleman, according to reports, was sent to that part of the country because of the fight against Galamsey. It's rather disturbing that the fight has turned out this way for this young man. But like Dr. Jampu said, what should this mean, his death in the fight? against Galamsey?
I want to believe the investigators are doing their work. And we are yet to know whatever they will come out with. Whatever be the case, we are told they were there to protect our national resources, including those who are destroying our water bodies. And as a country, this Galamsey fight must mean a lot to all of us. If you see what we are doing to our water bodies and farmlands, the cyanide, the mercury, and the number of people who are getting kidney diseases and cancers and all that, it is something that whoever is benefiting from such businesses must come to a point that we can't continue. And therefore, even the loss of life of such a hopeful young man, we've been told that he was close to promotion, must also ring another bell. A loss of life on this campaign of protecting our natural resources must at least speak to somebody that we are talking about something that hates us, that's dear to our life today and tomorrow. And no matter whatever you are benefiting from, this young man's life must at least speak to somebody that we can't continue destroying ourselves, destroying the future of this country, destroy water bodies. Because you are getting money, no Ghanaian should contract kidney diseases to the point that somebody who is to protect these natural resources will go through that gruesome murder experience.
Thank you very much for your time, Reverend Opuni Frimpong. He's the General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana. And like he mentioned, a national reorientation. If you have a conscience, you consider the life of this man, and you are in any way involved in Galamsey, I'm sure this should speak to your conscience. And if you also have a conscience, kindly desist from sharing that video and the pictures of the gruesome murder of this young man. I think to protect his person and to respect him, we should desist from that act. You're watching Joy News Desk. We have business next with Emmanuel Abuaje-Riafi.